All right, so we are on, as always. So this is part 3, and in part 2 I was trying to figure out how to incorporate the bird and me. And so I finally figured out that I will be laying on top of the bird. So I basically enlarge the bird before I even turn the picture around, because normally I would like to turn it around. I mean, this is my final idea, that I would like to turn the photograph around. But before we turn the photograph around, there are some other things that I would like to do. And I have tested these ideas, and then I wrote them down, and I'm going to share them with you. What I think at least, would look good as a final result. So I probably will be looking at my other screen while I'm editing, and I can take you step by step. So basically, what I did, I took the birdie, and I, instead of putting him, kind of incorporating him somehow on me, that wing would somehow come out of me, I thought it would be a better idea, and it saved me a lot of time editing. I'm not gonna lie about that. I enlarged the bird. I put him under me. So let me see. So basically what I did, I put the birdie under me, because this is me. I cleaned pretty much everything out, the rock as well. And also, if you remember from part 2, there were some branches here. So in the end, I felt like they shouldn't really be here, so I cleaned them up. And so we have me, and then I figured that maybe the bird should be somewhere over here. Now, you already know how to do it, so you create a layer mask, and then you use a brush, and then black removes, and white brings it back. Yeah, so that's already, you know how to do. So we're gonna move now further. So what I was thinking maybe just to add like another layer. But this time the layer is not going to be so complicated. I was thinking just maybe add like a splash of paint and see where we can just to give a little bit more maybe definition to the photograph. And I also want to point out, I don't know if I did it on live or not, just how much, but I have removed all the blemishes around whatever I was dissatisfied with. But we can also do a couple of other things. Now, for example, the bird over here. I am thinking, now, there are a couple of ways to do it, to bring a little bit more definition to the bird. Now, for example, we could give it more highlights. We can saturate it, desaturate it, give a little bit more, boost the color. And there are 2 ways to do it. The old-fashioned way, that I am more in favor of it, and I'll explain why. Or the non-old-fashioned way, and use curve. Now, 99% of people will say use the curve, and 99% people use curve. I don't like to use curve for one reason, because I like to have my numbers intact. Now, I haven't done this process home yet, so I'm just thinking maybe we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. So what I would like to go is to filter. I'm not going to use the curve. And then from filter, I would like to go to camera raw filter. And, oh, sorry. I cannot even see the bird because I cannot move the... Okay, this is not gonna work for some reason. I cannot move the picture over from one screen to another. Okay, this will be a little bit problematic. I'm going to try to figure this out, but for now, okay. So let's move on. This is live anyway, so let's just move on. I'll come back to that when I figure out what the problem is. But okay, so let's add another layer instead. So what I would like to go to is my, of course, all my presets, and then we're gonna go to, can't remember if they were in background overlays or presets. Could be in overlays. And I think it's in watercolor. Yeah. So I have this one, yeah? I'm gonna move the screen. I have like these watercolor presets, and I actually have used this one before in my other birdie photograph. So I'm just gonna move this one to the other screen, which works fine. And then I'm gonna take that splash of paint and I'm gonna move it over. And what I would like to do is, hold on one sec, stretch the overlay over my picture. Now you can do it a couple of ways. You can go under File and Open and then do it, which will open here. Your overlay will open here, and then you can click on it and then you can copy it and then paste it, come back to your original image and then paste it on. Or you can just drag and drop. I usually just drag and drop. And sometimes when just something doesn't work and updates, I will not do some sort of updates and it goes a little bit sideways. So, you know, we'll do it the other way. And then I click OK. Yeah. So don't panic, because our image didn't disappear. Our image is still here. Pretty much. So what we did, we overlaid a picture over our picture, and that is why it looks like it kind of disappeared. Because what we need to do, can you see this over here, little window? This is normal. So our overlay, another overlay, is highlighted. That means it's only going to affect that particular photograph. It's not going to affect anything other right here underneath, even though everything is of course here clicked. And those things that disappear underneath you can see, but then we'll come back with me and the birdie and so on, and now we have this overlay. So what we basically want to do is just to remove the entire background. Now we can do it a couple of ways. The old school way, so we can create a layer mask and just go all around and remove everything what we don't need, or as I mentioned, we have this little window and we have all these options. So what I would like to do, right now we have it on normal, and then when you start going down, this is dissolve, this is darken, and you can see already changes done. Multiply, color burn, linear burn, dark color, light, screen, dodge, and each particular one has a different effect. So if you can go and you can just play around with it, and later of course you can. This is quite cool, but I'm not sure if this is exactly something that I would want to do, because for me they're a little bit the splashes of paint are a little bit all over, and I don't think they're doing the job. So what I like to do, I think I will go with lighter, and you can see the difference between lighter color and was it the linear light? No, I think it was this one. Difference. This one affects the entire image, basically shows all the splashes all over it. So it's on my dress, it's on the bird, and so on. And then lighter color is kind of affecting pretty much everything around, but not so much me. Of course, there are some things in here. Now, what we would like to do now, I think, in my opinion, the splashes of paint are a little bit too define, too too visible, too noticeable. We still want to have them noticeable, but we don't want to have them this noticeable, in my opinion. But again, it's all about the personal choice. So you have over here, you have opacity and fill. If we're gonna play around a little bit with opacity and fill, they're gonna bring down a little bit of the definition of these paint splashes. Splashes, same. So I have tested, and I have already made a decision before, that I would like to have my opacity at 48%, and I would like to have my fill at 85%. So you can see it's a little bit now different, I think, and I think, in my opinion, it's not as the splashes are not as defined, and they just give a little bit something here. Of course, if we are again dissatisfied that there's maybe too much of it, it maybe looks a little bit like a dirt, we can still only affect some of them and remove from some of them. So what we can do is, again, not everything, but some of them. So if we would like to remove only one, this big one, so of course we can do like with a remove tool, or we can create a layer mask. Now, the layer masks used to be, for me, the biggest nightmare of all time, like literally of all time. But I've learned to work with them, or rather, I've learned them. And so right now they're a little bit better. So a little bit more of my friends. So let's say, for example, we would like to take slightly down on it. So what I would like to do is I would like to have my brush a little bit bigger. Let's just say here. So it only affects a few spots. But if I do this, and of course remember that the hardness is at 0%, I want it the softest brush possible, and you can always fix that a little bit later. So if I would want to do this, then it's just going to take everything away from the entire splash. So what I would like to do is, again, we have our paintbrush here on the top, and then we have normal mode, and still we can play around with it a little bit, but what we want to do is just take the opacity, and the less the opacity you do and the flow, the more hey. No. Aye. Hold on one second, let me just try to figure this out. Oh, my layer mask, of course. I have deleted my layer mask. Okay, so we have the layer mask. So the more you go with the opacity and the flow, then the more subtle the changes will be. And what you would want to do is just take a little bit down, literally a little bit down, and you can already see it is creating a little bit less of the effect. Like there's not so much already in here. You can of course try to remove, if you would want to remove everything, you can remove, but it's already less than it used. Comparing this splash and the splash of paint over here, it's already less. You can actually try to do a little bit experiment here. And again, it's always better if you take less of that. And then this one. just take it a little bit down, and you can of course go a little bit more on flow and more on opacity, and kind of do it quicker if you want to. But just remember that later you might want to make it a little bit more defined, and with that, so it doesn't look overly tacky. So we just took a little bit less, a little bit more on the, let's say the paint splash from the bird. Maybe we can even completely remove it, because we do want the bird to be somehow visible, and the bird is a little bit, we want to keep those, but it's kind of disappearing a little bit. But we do want to keep a little bit. I mean, if the paint is splashing all over, why shouldn't it splash on us too, right? So you just want to make literally like very subtle changes. Nothing too crazy. So let's say that we are happy with the paintbrush, the paint splash, and we're somewhat satisfied with our results before and after. I think it's okay. But I was thinking just to add another layer, because I'm thinking maybe something is still missing here. I mean, the picture itself would be okay if I would just now move it to Lightroom. Okay, I will say I became very lazy, or rather maybe not lazy, but the Lightroom things, I've never been so thrilled with Lightroom before, but now I am a little bit, because it makes the job a little bit faster. Because other than that, I would have to just go and everything in the curve, and or just make the subtle changes completely like separately. But now I kind of like it, because it makes my job a little bit easier. But it doesn't mean that I'm still a Lightroom person. Not at all. I'm very much a Photoshop person. But right now we're concentrating on this. So what I was thinking is I would add another layer. So again, I will go to my, over here. Background overlays. And that's right here in freebies. This wasn't here. Butterflies. And that was 30. Okay, 030.3. Hopefully. Okay, yeah. And so I have this overlay, which is a rainbow. So let me drag and drop the rainbow onto our photograph. And this is okay. We actually want to have the rainbow right kind of in the circle. And maybe just slightly enlarge it, not too much, because then if we're gonna crop the picture, then yeah, we need to have it. Okay. And again, we have a lot of these things over here, and it looks like it's been done a very sloppy job, because again, we need to figure out how this picture even going to disappear. Now again, we can create a layer mask and be very careful and try to just kind of go around and erase everything all around, or we can go to our presets over here, and that was, I believe that would be screen, or we can do exclusion. So we have, well, we could have two choices: screen, which is this one, and you can see when you do it, I was about to point, when you do that, and you can see that all the sides, they have already disappeared on their own, because they're not, Photoshop is very smart, so you don't really need those, and Photoshop can see that you don't need it, and you actually don't need to create a layer mask, and you don't need to erase anything, this would be rather difficult to erase. So we have that. So it's either screen or exclusion. The difference is very subtle. Screen. I actually need to see the difference. Or exclusion. The difference is very subtle. So, and I have tested screen, so I'm thinking we're just gonna leave it here. And overall, I'm very satisfied. Of course, I'm going to flip it, and I think I'm going to crop it so it's going to be, instead of being like more vertical, horizontal, I would maybe crop it for square. Oh, sorry. This message came via WhatsApp. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to save, and this is all, of course, I'm saving in PSD. And we're just going to save it and leave it like that for now. We can also do another thing. If we're happy with our results, we can also create a smart object. Now, I am tempted to do so, which means that we're going to put everything, all the layers in one, and then we can, of course, as well just work on a little bit our colors. But because when you go to filter and camera raw filter, you can define all the colors and so on. But because somehow my pop-up window doesn't move to the other, so I'm gonna have to figure this out, and I'm gonna show it to you at some point. But I basically saved my image, and now I'm going to go to Lightroom, Classic. I'm gonna close down the Photoshop so it doesn't run in the background, and I'm gonna just kind of briefly show you my presets. Some of them I like very much, and some of them not so much, but I cannot even remember what I had them from. Some of them were some free, and some of them I purchased because they were specific for okay, so we have the image, yeah? This is the exact image that we just had. What's new? We're gonna figure out what's new later. This is the exact image that we had before. So I have my light and airy presets, and I basically can click on them, and not click on them, but just point at them, and they will show me variations, which I can, of course, later adjust on the side. I think I like this one very much. The bird is very subtle, so I'd like to keep it this way. I always like, when some of the images, which is not always possible. Oh, hold on, my camera is actually, okay, let's move me, because you cannot see this side. So I have my presets right in here, and then I can just kind of not click, but point at them, and that will show me approximately what they're gonna look like. I do like when my audience should maybe just kind of sort of look a little bit at the photographs and yeah, and just look deeper and try to figure out what's in it, like the bird. I do like the 12, I do like the 10. The 10 is a little bit different than the 12. The difference is very subtle. It's in exposure, but we can always, overexpose and underexposed. Expose images is just what we need. And I have something like dark woods, and I pretty much have my favorite some of the favorite ones, and I like to experiment with them a little bit. But just because I will, for example, pick one right now, it doesn't mean that that preset is going to be for the rest, because I can always go back to it and redo some rustic blues. So I'm thinking this is also quite nice, but I'm thinking we're just gonna go settle for the lights in area 12, in my opinion. And then maybe in temperature we can just go micro, couple of points down. There will be a little bit blue. We can give just a slight exposure, and then we can bring the contrast maybe 15, and then we probably will want to saturate the rainbow a little bit around. So I have it now at 5. It was at minus something, but I have it at 5, and we don't want to do more, because then, you know, our own body will be, as you can see over here, will be, you know, the red will be red and so on, and so there will be just too much of that. So then of course you have vibrance, and you can, you know, play around with vibrance, and but I think I was at 0-ish. I think I'm quite happy with the results. Highlights, that was at 50. You can also do highlights a little bit on, and then pop the whites up. We can create all kinds of things. And then, you know, if you would want to bring the black tones a little bit out, then you can just also play with blacks, or if you want to take them down, you can take them down, but you know, right now you cannot see shite. So this may be a little bit too much, and you can keep it some about at 40. And then with highlights at minus 100, okay. Exposure, clarity, and then texture. I mean, texture is pretty textured. So maybe we can go down a little bit. I like to go down on minus 5, because it just kind of gives a little bit nicer thing, and it doesn't need to be all that textured. So I think I'm happy with it. I think I'm happy with the picture itself. And yet again, I have been showing you, I just cannot get used to the Lightroom is on one side and the and Photoshop is on the other side. So sorry for the confusion, but pretty much you have all the highlights, shadows, whites and blacks right on this side, and then you have the presets right on this side, right here, right where my camera is, where I am. I think I'm pretty happy with the results, so we can, you know, as well just kind of flip the image. Right. Somehow. No. Let me just, I think I have something running in the background. Control. Well, we can definitely crop it a little bit, but I think we went back to where we're supposed to be. We could potentially crop it a little bit in the ratio of you have all these here, and then you can also add your custom design, but I don't know yet. Let me think about it, but let me just maybe export this with as a JPEG, and we're gonna figure out what to do with it later. I would like to see the final JPEG result, and then I'm gonna figure out if I should keep it this way or if I should keep it the other way, or if I should, vertical or horizontal, or if I would like to crop it. I will crop that. I'm not gonna. I was hesitant because I'm like, if I'm gonna crop this now on live, then no. But if I'm gonna crop it and then sit and think about it, then I can show you if I like it or I don't like it. So how about we make that deal? I think I'm pretty happy with the final result of the photograph. So let's look at the photograph and self-portraits. Let me see. Okay, this is our not flipped. And the reason I'm thinking, should it be flipped or should it not be flipped, is because I mean, I kind of like it also this way. Yeah, maybe it isn't. Okay, let's leave it this way for now. I think I like it, but on the other hand, the other one was like, but I think I like the photograph. So let's see what happens. Let's just call it a day today, and I'm going to play around and see if I actually like it in square, or if it should not be in square, if it should be in either horizontal or vertical. But I think the goal today has been achieved. We have created an image, and I'm pretty happy with the results. Even, when it's dark and eerie, and the bird is visible just a little bit, which I like, because I like my audience to kind of gaze upon it. Initially, I also thought maybe the head should be like the bird's head should be, kind of coming out of my head. But as I was testing these ideas, it didn't exactly work for me. So I think this is okay. Yeah, so I'll see you next time. You guys, whoever was watching, is watching, will be watching. And if there's something that I would like to make some changes, then I'll